Guys, I'm here with Helen McDonald.
Hi.
She lives just outside of Warwick in a place called Massey.
Yep.
On a small block of land where she keeps some retired racehorses. Just give us a bit of a background of where you come from and what you used to do prior to being a very established and successful photographer that you are today.
Well, Evan and I are basically Sydney City people, I guess, who came to the bush. We passed through here on a holiday and we loved it so much that we ended up buying a property and sold up our houses and came up here and started a life up here, which was fantastic. It's just much better than living in the city.
Yeah, you definitely. I come from the bush too, and you definitely take it for granted. It's a very peaceful way to live, even though I generally work pretty hard. But it's a good way to live in the country.
Oh, it's really, really different. I mean, yeah.
So, your moniker, Crazy Horse Photography, definitely stands out to me amongst all the other artist names. Because you give us a bit of a background into what that means, because I've got a bit of an idea in my head, Crazy Horse Lady. Because I went to an ag college with horse type girls. It's very much a thing, Crazy Horse Lady. Is it?
Yes and no. When we were looking for a name to start up, I have a little marketing business, and Evan, we threw some names into a pot, and of course the horses, and Evan liked Neil Young, and of course he had a band, Crazy Horse, and we just decided that was, you know, I'm a little bit crazy, I guess, and it seemed appropriate, and I guess I took the photo for the logo to start off with, so that's how it all sort of started.
Oh, it's fairly innocent.
It is, sorry, there's nothing really...
Yeah. I do notice you do have a couple of horses out the back there, because you were into horse breeding.
Horse breeding and racing, yes.
That's a pretty hard game to be successful at.
Well, I don't think you can be a little backyard breeder these days and win the Melbourne Cup, unfortunately.
No. But it's always good fun if anyone participates. Seems to be a good thing to get into. Alright, so we'll move on to some more topical questions. So, yeah, you live in Warwick, which is a really nice place. It's very scenic and normally quite lush, beautiful.
Not now.
Not at the moment, it's a bit dry, but... So what inspires you, and where do you take most of your photos? In this area, or do you get around a bit?
Oh, we get around a bit. I mean, the thing that I like about different places would be the light aspect. You know, that especially just after sunrise, I mean, it's just beautiful. The light sort of just wraps around everything and just makes it beautiful. And if you can get that on film or through the camera's eye and then actually get it onto the photo, I think you're doing a good job. The colour, look, there's not much colour, especially now at the moment because it's dry, but the light tends to make all the difference, and I guess I travel for the light.
Yeah. Photographers are light chasers, aren't they? The light needs to be right to get a good photo.
Oh yeah, I mean you can always fudge light. Yeah. But there's nothing like the real light to have in the first place.
A real, authentic photographer, a lot of respect in that industry if you use light naturally, isn't there, compared to using editing programs?
Oh.
There's no real way of knowing, but...
When I first started taking pictures, I thought to myself, I really didn't like the heavy edited photos, and I sort of kept within that genre to make everything real. But I think sometimes you've got to move out of that bubble, and you've got to go and...
You're missing out on enhancing the photo if you don't use...
But you can take it that one step too far, and I think you've got to be realistic with the area and the...
It all comes down to having good taste, and which is all subjective to the person, but...
Well, exactly what I think is a good picture, my husband Evan thinks is crap.
Yeah.
So
I think with photography, I think generally the general public have a good eye for what is good taste, whereas with art I don't think there's that same level playing field amongst the public. It's a lot more subjective with art. But photography, I find people generally can tell a good photo from a bad one.
People
over processed photo from a.
and people get hung up on the technical aspects of taking a picture, whereas if I take my pictures by emotion, I think I feel them. I don't sort of say, is this a picture of thirds? Is it sitting in the right square sort of thing? It's a feeling almost. It's
the
like
rule of thirds and all that.
it's more of a feeling, and that's where I try to go with my pictures, through to the feeling.
Yep. Makes sense. You let your emotion drive the photography rather than.
It drives the editing process.
Yep.
Rather than.
Well, a lot of our artists are the same. They, depending on what their mood is or how they're feeling during the day, their art might come out slightly different each time.
That's correct.
And the colours they use, and so it's the same principle that you're saying, isn't it?
And then you can look at one picture and you can come back to it at a different time interval and think, what was I thinking when I did that?
Yeah.
And then you're looking at it 6 months or a year down the track, and you think, no, it's not that. It really doesn't mean that to me.
Yeah, I notice with my own photography that, and I don't even think about it, but if I'm in a bad mood or I'm not feeling too well, all my photos are darker. Like the way I edit it's just completely different to how I edit it when I'm in a good mood.
I think
it's just like as you're saying, it's just something that happens. You don't think about it. It's just something.
You get driven by how you're feeling and trying to get the emotion, I think. And that's basically what my job is to try and convey an emotion.
Yeah.
Through a picture and through its editing process.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you go out and you go on these little tours where you try and find a good muse, and so you'll take a gear with you. And how many shots do you think you generally will take before you feel confident you found the one? I know it's in photography. Everyone's chasing that one shot, aren't they?
The dollar shot.
Yeah.
It's a really hard question, because I know with the sunrise at Dandaroo photo right down the end there, I must have taken about 50 shots of that.
Yeah.
And that was all during the sunrise.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I came home and I went through those 50 photos that I found one that I actually thought, now this is the one that I want to play with, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and then other times you can walk out and just take that good shot first go, really.
Well, it all depends. I mean, as it normally happens when we go out taking pictures, because Evan usually comes out with me and he's driving, and I say, quick, stop the car. You see something, it's just you see something, and I say, when you see something, you have a feeling about a picture.
It's how particular you're feeling on the day too, probably, wouldn't it be? How finicky.
It depends what jumps out at you. Is it the light? Is it how the mist falls down on the dam? Is it the colours? But there are so many different variables.
Yeah, and if you're dealing with a challenging day, obviously it's going to take more shots, isn't it?
Look, most days I'd come home with about 1,000 plus, and I'd start from there. And if I could get 10 out of that, I'd be very happy.
Yeah. So as a photographer, like, you have that initial stage of actually, capturing the photo, but behind closed doors there's normally quite an extensive post-production process. Could you give us a bit of an insight into what you do and how long it takes, etc., etc.?
Okay. Every picture's different. If I'm doing dog pictures or animal pictures, they don't take as much time as a landscape. But I would come home and I'd throw the camera off. I'd download all the pictures off the camera, and then I'd go away and leave it for a little bit, and I'd come back and I'd just go through each photo. I usually just write down a number and I'll flick those ones that I choose off into another folder, and so they're like the first cut.
Yeah.
And then I might leave it for a little bit and come back and see what really takes my fancy, and then I'll start the process with those ones. Sometimes there are standouts and they're the easy ones, and you think, oh my God, I just got to get to this right now. And you just leave everything else on the laptop and just go to this one picture.
Yeah, because you know you've taken something amazing and you've got to get to it.
Yeah, you just know. And Some take a little bit of work to actually find the picture.
Yep.
But it's similar to painting in that it takes a while for a paint to actually come together.
Mm.
And it's the same with taking a photo. It doesn't happen in 5 seconds. You are basically in charge of everything, the lighting. If you want fog or more fog, if you want to add different things to the picture, it's just.
So you were saying before Topaz is your favourite program.
Oh, it's my new favourite program.
Yeah. So for the viewer, I think everyone knows Photoshop and Lightroom. I think if you do a bit of photography, you know that. But yeah, so Topaz is a recommendation from Helen.
Oh, absolutely. The program is free to download, but the extras, the plugins, they cost, and they're just absolutely off the planet. I mean, they have a program called AI Gigapixel, and it actually, if you took a photo off your camera, off your phone, and it's a crappy photo and it doesn't have much substance to it, you can throw it into this program and it resizes it. It adds pixels. It's just brilliant.
We should be claiming $100 like fee for
No, look,
Topaz,
it's just brilliant, and you know, with every artist, be it painter, photographer, or whatever, you've got to start stretching your boundaries.
No, it's quite the endorsement, right?
You've got to, and
I'm going to look into it for sure.
You've got to look at different ways to present, I think, and you've got to keep recreating and moving your boundaries and achieving those goals.
So one thing we were chatting before, for the viewer, you might not realise, but a lot of effort and decision goes into choosing the right paper, A, for the client, and B, just for the photo itself.
For the finished product.
You know, as an artist, you've got to decide what paper is going to bring out the best in your image. So here's 2 examples of Helen's choices. This is a metallic one. As you can see, it's really shiny and just makes the image really vibrant and jump off the page.
It makes it pop.
Makes it pop, as Helen says. And then this one's more of a like a...
An art paper. Thick.
How would you say? Like
porous. It's more
historical
porous.
sort of vibe about it. It's more like rustic.
Yes. Different pictures warrant different finishes. Yeah. It's not one size fits all.
So this has a more soft approach and more rustic look about it. And
I actually took that picture and had it processed on metallic paper over there, and it just changes the dynamics of the picture.
Yep.
And then once you actually get it framed again, that once again adds to the dynamics of the picture.
Yep. That's a story for another day, I think.
Look, it's the next thing. I mean, taking the picture, putting it up on Facebook is easy, but it's actually presenting the picture is another process in itself.
Yep. All right, well, we better wrap it up there because that's a fair bit to digest, but it's been great interviewing you, Helen.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for all your insights and going to all the lengths with the questions. It's really interesting.
No, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Awesome.